Hello and welcome to another episode of The Voice of Rio Grande. I'm Dr. Donna Mitchell and I'm Dean of College of Professional and Technical Studies, and I'm here with my co-host Dr. Heather Duda, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you enjoying summer?
I am. I survived graduation.
Wasn't it a beautiful day?
Oh, it was beautiful. We had pinning ceremonies all that week, so that was a lot of fun too, to get to see everybody getting pinned, and just a really, really nice day.
Do you know, one of the highlights for me of graduation is always seeing the pictures of the students in their mortar boards on the back of their hats. There were some really creative hats this year. You know, a little plug here for the Facebook page, Rio Grande Facebook page. There are, I was told, over 300 pictures from graduation. So if you missed graduation, check out the Facebook page and see the exciting day that it was.
It was a historic day for University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College. And we are very fortunate today to have three of our outstanding graduates with us. We did a show last month with some of our graduates, our outstanding graduates, but some of the graduates were not notified that they had won an award until a special ceremony closer to graduation. So I'm really excited to get to speak with these three ladies today.
Me too. I think they're going to tell us a lot about how to be successful college students.
Right.
And speaking of which, our first is Tamar Fulkerson. Hi, Tamar.
Hi.
You were here with us in December,
Yes.
right? When we did the program on outreach to the community. You were part of the education coat drive?
Yes, the coat drive
Yeah.
with Dr. Gulati's class, yes.
Yeah, and so you just graduated as an AYA, adolescent and young adult, education major with a specialization in language arts.
Yes.
The official title is AYA Language Arts. And you won an award for highest GPA in the AYA areas.
Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I worked hard, so.
So tell us a little bit about your, what drew you to the AYA Language Arts major?
Well, as you previously know, I graduated before with a Bachelor of Arts in English, just plain English. And I love literature, and I love the way students open their minds and their interpretations of the different literature and the different works. So when I came back, I decided I like the critical thinking part of literature. So for me, it was an obvious choice to go AYA because that's grades 7 through 12, which is a good time to challenge them to think outside of the box and go beyond what they think their limitations are. So that's why I went with AYA.
That's great. Do you have a text that you are really looking forward to teaching young adults?
I don't, because I don't know what grade I'm going to be teaching, so it kind of depends. During student teaching, I actually taught To Kill a Mockingbird. I talked to you about that, and it was interesting to see their reactions to the text, because at first they were like, oh, this is boring, this is Fulkerson, why do we have to read this? The language, they had trouble with the language and the pace at which the novel began. And I explained to them that, well, look at the pace of the town and see how that reflects in the literature and the language that she's using. And then the second half obviously picks up as the trial picks up. So that was interesting, and that could be taught on different grade levels. And I think it has important themes that are relevant to today as well. So for them to take a text that was written in the 50s, based in the 30s, and connect it to today's society is something good to do. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I don't know what else I would do. There's so many good books out there, and I also want to take a chance to ask the students. I have obviously some texts that I want to teach, but I'm wanting to get their voice as well as to what they want to read, and maybe incorporate more modern into my classroom as well.
Great.
I think that's a great idea, because you need to connect with your student, and if you can connect with your student and spark an interest and have them maybe begin by reading something that is more of interest to them, then it might spark their love for literature down the road.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that by me being excited about my subject area, then it will kind of transcend into my students, and they might see the relevance of literature and the importance of it. And today, with all social media and all of that, they're connected, but they're not really connected to those around them, and opening literature discussions in the classroom kind of opens that connection. So
Absolutely.
Passion can be contagious.
hopefully, I hope so.
So what's next?
Next is an endless job search until, I find the job that I'm looking for. I've had a couple interviews so far, and potential interviews in the future. I want to kind of stay in this area. Obviously, I have children, so to be in this area is ideal, but I don't know, I'm open. I'm not really set in stone. I'm kind of expanding and looking at my options right now. So,
Where did you do student teaching?
student teaching I did at Oak Hill Middle School. I was in 8th grade. And actually the education program has kind of revamped a little bit, because before you would do junior field with one teacher and then student teaching with another teacher. And this year they actually encouraged us to do our student teaching and our junior field with the same teacher. So that way we knew our students already, and we had already established that relationship with them. And I think it was successful to do it that way, because my students, I saw progress from the time that I was there till the end, because I was there virtually almost like 6 of the 9 months that they're in school, so I was there a good chunk of their time.
That's a great process.
It is, and for me to connect with the students, it was very rewarding. For me to see, there was a few young men that, for them to turn in work was a challenge, and they were disruptive to the class and stuff, and you just had to approach them differently a little bit. One of them would be like, "Miss Fulkerson, I'm sitting by you," because I had my own table. And he'd come up and sit at the end of the table, but he did his work and he was quiet and he turned his work in. So that was a progress from junior field, when he just didn't turn anything. He waited till like the last day of the semester and he turned everything in. So I like to see the progress and the connections that I made with the students. It was rewarding for me as just a student teacher. So hopefully I'll see that in the future as well.
Could you tell us just about, in closing quickly, what was maybe the highlight, or what's your favorite part of the education program at University of Rio Grande?
The faculty is amazing in the education department. There, as well as other departments. Dr. Duda was my professor before, and just the faculty, they're always willing to go out of their way to help you succeed. And by doing that, they're in turn helping you help your students succeed. So I think that's very important. And one of the benefits of the Rio Grande education program is you're in the field almost immediately. Like your first semester, you're doing hours out there observing to see if that's really what you want to do. And I think that's a benefit that Rio Grande has versus other programs.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a delight to talk with you, and we wish you the best of luck in your job search.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Have a good summer, guys.
Thanks, you too. I think that Tamar really hit upon one of the strengths of the education program when she said that students who choose to go into education are in the classroom almost from the very beginning, because teaching is a commitment, as we know, and it can be a lifestyle choice. And so knowing that you have the passion and the drive for that your freshman year allows you to be successful, whether it's in that field or if you maybe find that you're not as passionate about it as you thought, you still have lots of time to figure out where your passions are.
Right. I have a friend whose daughter decided to come to Rio from another school. Another positive that she noted of our program is the personal interaction with the faculty. She said from the minute she walked in the door, she felt like this was where she needed to be. And it was because that personal touch that she experienced from day one with her faculty. So that's a wonderful testament to our faculty and education.
Is. And it's not just in education. I think our faculty throughout the institution have that same caring nature, and I'm so happy to work with our faculty and staff here at Rio.
Our next guest is Roberta King, and Roberta won one of our awards from the nursing program. Hello, Roberta.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And can you tell us a little bit about your award?
My award was the People Caring for People from Edgewood Manor in Wellston, Ohio. And I was very shocked that I had received the own award. But I take honor and pride in making a difference in people's lives.
A little bit of background about this award. It's presented to an individual with a caring attitude. So that was what your faculty saw in you when they recommended you. And the awards for the nursing program are all nominated by faculty, either full-time or part-time. And then all the faculty deliberate and they vote. And so it's not an easy process. And sometimes they spend a lot of agony deciding on who should be the recipient. So this is quite an honor, Roberta,
Yes.
for you to have won this award. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to Rio?
Well, I graduated LPN school at Buckeye Hills in 2003. And all my life I've always thought about being a nurse. My mom was ill and we had a hospice nurse in, and just to see how a nurse can, come into your life and make a difference, I wanted to be that type of person.
And so you've worked as an LPN from 2003 till now?
Yes, and I'm still working, going to school. I worked at Jenkins Care Community in Wellston, Ohio. I'm still there, but previously got a job at King's Daughters in Ashland, Kentucky in the ICU fellowship, and we'll start that July 10th.
Well, congratulations.
Can you tell us a little bit about the position, what your area of specialization is, what your kind of day-to-day professional life will be?
Well, it's will be the fellowship. I will be educating in the ICU, and I will become strictly an ICU nurse.
Wow.
They're taking care of more critically ill patients, and scary, but I'm excited.
It sounds like this award then is really going to be applicable to your professional goals. Somebody who works in ICU definitely needs to be caring not only the patient, but probably the patient's family.
Yes, I think that is a lot, because you don't just take care of the patient. A lot of times you're taking care of the family members. They need a lot of support.
Critical care is an area that's in high demand. And once you get your feet wet in critical care and you get experience, you can go anywhere and you can almost name your price, because it's really difficult to find good critical care nurses now.
I hope to be the best.
Is your desire to stay in this area?
Yeah. Yeah, for right now. Maybe in a couple years or so, move south. But I have grandbabies, so I want to stay close to them for a while.
Some nurses consider traveling nursing as well.
I have thought about it.
So you could go south for the winter and then
Come
work
back
here.
home.
Yeah.
Sounds like traveling nursing might be the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You're paid to travel, paid for your lodging and food and that sort of thing. What did you especially like about the nursing program at Rio Grande?
The staff was amazing. They helped you. They was there to support you, and all of them to direct you in the right way. If you was having problems, they were very easy to talk to. And just in general, the whole program itself was very, very touching and motivating.
Good. And you came in as an LPN, so how long did it take you to complete the program?
I started in June to May.
So
About
just a little less than a full
Yeah.
year.
Yes.
And what would you say is one of the biggest personality attributes that someone needs to demonstrate the level of caring that you do as a professional?
Well, you just need to have an open mind for everything. Never a closed mind. You always have to be optimistic about what's out there and be willing to accept anything.
That sounds like good advice for us all.
And you have your award with you, I believe. So if you want to hold it up, and maybe we can the camera can pick up on the certificate that you were awarded. So that's something that you can frame and
Yes.
put in your house or maybe your office someday.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Do you have a goal of going on and doing anything further with your education?
Yes, I plan on going back for my bachelor's. I'm going to start back this fall, getting my generals, and then going on for my bachelor's.
Good. And then after that?
We shall see where the road life takes us.
I hear that a lot from graduates right after they finish the associate, and I often hear no graduate school. And then many of our graduates are nurse practitioners, nurse educators. They've gone on for masters or maybe either even doctorates. So
Yes.
you never know.
Yes,
true.
I think stepping into the ICU, I'm coming out of my comfort zone, because I've always just been in rehabilitation in the nursing homes and stuff. And so one step at a time.
That's what we have to do, is
Yeah.
one
Yes.
step at a time.
Yes.
What word of advice might you have for an LPN who might be looking for an RN program?
I definitely feel they should at least look into the Rio Grande, and I do highly advise people to go further. I mean, not only you can further yourself, but better yourself, and the more knowledge you can bring to your workplace.
I think that's great advice.
I do too.
We thank you for your time, Roberta. I know
Thank
that
you.
you have a busy life, so we thank you for coming in, even in the midst of
Thank
an
you.
earthquake. She
Yeah,
came.
I know, I did.
Had
My
an
whole house was shaking.
earthquake in Wellston today, and she still came. So that's a nurse. She'll come
Yeah.
no matter what.
That's right. Well, thank you very much for having me.
No
Thank
problem.
you for
Thank
being here.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that earthquake was a little frightening today.
We didn't feel it here on campus, but yeah, I suppose that was a little bit of an unexpected experience.
It was a jolt, to say the least. I'm so proud of our graduates that we've talked with so far, and we have one more graduate we'll talk with today. Unfortunately, we have many, many more who weren't able to be with us
Yes,
today.
that's right.
Some of them are back home, and back home may be far from Rio Grande, and since they've graduated, they've left. Others are working, so they had
Yeah.
to be at work today. But we could really probably interview, 50, 75, 100 students or graduates.
I think so. I mean, between the graduates and just everybody all our students who really go above and beyond and really commit themselves to the academic experience and to their professional lives. We've got so many more stories we could tell.
We certainly do. We have some outstanding students.
We do. And students who are doing outstanding work as just one part of their lives. And to hear those stories is always so encouraging and positive.
Right. Well, our third guest today is Sherry Robinson.
Hello.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
And Sherry won the Nightingale Award. And how did you feel about winning that award, Sherry?
I couldn't believe it. I almost didn't stand up.
I noticed that. There was a little bit of a hesitation.
Yeah, I was like, what? It was pretty shocking.
Can you tell us a little bit about the award?
It was from Arbors and Capitalists. I actually was just absolutely flabbergasted that I won an award. I couldn't believe it. I almost didn't stand up. I was like, are they talking to me? But yeah, I was actually very honored. Very honored.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The award is given by Arbors, and it's called the Nightingale Award because it's somebody who exemplifies the life of Florence Nightingale. And Florence Nightingale, as we all know, was a very dedicated nurse, and this exemplifies, again, caring. You're hearing the theme of caring and kindness. And that's one thing, and I've been a nursing faculty member for a number of years before I was a dean, and that was one thing that we couldn't teach our students, but I valued more in a student. If I could have a student who was a caring individual, we could help them learn the rest of it. But if we didn't have somebody with that basic, I call it a heart for nursing, then
Yeah.
it was difficult because you really have to love people.
It's all about
Yeah.
nursing comes from your heart.
Yeah.
The education is wonderful, and you have to have it. It's all about caring about the people.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Sherry, how you came to Rio?
Well, I graduated from Buckeye Hills too, but I graduated in 2010. I got started late on my nursing career, but I worked in long-term care for a couple of years, and then I went to hospice. And I did so because we had hospice for my father, and it was a wonderful experience, and it was just something I wanted to be a part of. So I finally gave in and decided it was time to go to school. But then I said to myself and kept telling myself, I started this journey and I have to finish it. And Rio Grande was just the LPN to RN program was just so, I don't know, it just seemed like it would be so wonderful to just be able to do that so quickly. Everywhere else it was 2 years or longer, and I thought, I need to do this and I need to do it now.
You know, you mentioned that you went into hospice. I've had an experience with hospice. My grandfather was in hospice, and I come from a nursing family. And I was just so thankful for hospice nurses. They are a breed apart, and as you said, when it comes to caring and compassion, they're amazing. So the fact that you did that, thank you. And thank you for having the kind of personality.
With hospice,
that
it's
works
not
with
just
that.
about your patient, it's about the family too. You really have to take care of the family too, because it's a hard time for them too.
And I know not everybody can do it, so I think it speaks volumes for the fact that you
I
have
loved
done
it,
that.
every minute of it.
I've always said it takes a special nurse to do hospice.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
you have to be there sometimes in the middle of the night whenever
All
you're
night
called.
long sometimes.
And you have to have the compassion and yet not let it get to you.
It still gets to you after you leave.
It would have to.
I'll bet.
Many times my husband would say to me, when are you going to stop crying when you come home? And when you don't, it's time to move on. You won't be any good at it anymore. So,
What are you doing next? So what's next for you professionally?
Right now I'm doing private duty nursing at night because that was convenient for my school schedule. And I also work at a long-term care facility. But I am going to King's Daughters too. And I have one of the fellowships for the ICU program.
Wow.
And I'm very excited. I'm scared to death, but I'm very excited about it. Can't wait to get started, actually. It's really kind of scary.
It will be, and in your first few weeks, you'll think, oh, I wish I had my clinical instructor here to ask this question.
Yeah, I can just imagine, like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do?
We've even gotten phone calls from graduates saying, I know you taught us this, but this is happening on the unit, and I'm not really exactly sure what to do.
They can probably expect some phone calls.
But you'll catch on quickly. You've
Yeah.
had a lot of years of experience as an LPN, so that will help you.
Yeah, it's still scary though.
What about continuing your education?
I am going to do my BSN. I told you no, but I am going to do it. When she asked me earlier, I told her no, I'm done with school, but now I'm going to get my BSN.
That's great.
Don't expect anything further than that. By then, I'll be ready to be done with school, I'm sure. But I am going to stay and get my BSN.
That's good. And I think that it's easier if you just go right on through.
I think so too. I only have 2 more classes for my prereqs, and I have all of them done. So look for us in the spring.
That'll be good.
Yeah, okay.
What would you say to somebody who is maybe considering entering the nursing profession? What advice would you give them?
Oh, do it. It's very rewarding. It's very satisfying. You can't imagine the difference you can make in people's lives. And definitely come to Rio to do it. The faculty is wonderful. And the support staff is even more wonderful, I have to tell you. The support staff has got us through a lot of things.
We always say that we couldn't do it without Karen and Jess.
There's no way. We couldn't have got through school without Karen and Jess.
And those are our 2 administrative assistants in the nursing program.
And they're absolutely wonderful. If you have a question, go ask them. If there's something you can't figure out what you need to do, go ask them. They'll head you in the right direction.
And I have to tell just a little story about Sherry. She not only was a good student and a good nurse, but she also makes a very delicious pumpkin roll. At Christmas time, how many pumpkin rolls did you make?
I made, just for you guys at the school, 20-some.
Pumpkin rolls, lemon rolls. We were
Jelly
purchasing rolls from her at Christmas at holiday time. How she had time to do that and study, I'll never know.
Gosh,
I love to bake.
it sounds like it.
I do. I love to. Yeah.
Can you think of a highlight of your nursing education?
Oh, probably our little study group that Roberta and I had with another student. It was so much easier to work together and test each other and push each other. Highly advised study groups. People think they can do it on their own. You can't. It's just not possible. You need to be challenged. And we challenged each other, and it worked out great. It really did.
Did you study on campus?
As a matter of fact, we all came hours early. Class didn't start till 11:30. We'd be there at 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
Wow.
And they have little study rooms that you can go in, and we had our own little special study room. We went in the same one every time, and we all sat there and we studied and studied.
That's great advice. You know, I utilized study groups a lot when I was in school, and they can be, sometimes your peers are more hard on you than your
Exactly.
faculty are. And if you can manage to work with them and get the questions they're throwing your way, you're going to be
Absolutely,
successful.
absolutely. Anything we could find to test us, we used. We used
great advice.
everything.
I saw you in the study rooms, and I think it's a great thing that we have those study rooms available because the faculty are just around the corner.
Right.
So as you're studying, if you actually come to sometimes one student will understand something one way, another student will understand it another way. It's an opportunity for you to go, and if your faculty are in her office or his office, you can go and say, hey, we're just not real sure
We
about
could
this.
see out the little window when everybody was coming in, so we knew when we could jump up and run to their office to
Right.
say, okay, we don't get this. We think of this, and this one thinks this. What do we do?
Right.
We need to compromise, or we need another answer.
Were the faculty receptive to those
Oh,
questions?
very much so. All of them absolutely wonderful about helping.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Would you like to show us your certificate?
Of course. Of course.
Again, a certificate that she can frame and put on her wall. We're very proud of you and of all of our
Thank you.
graduates and especially our award recipients.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Well-
Oh, Heather.
Gosh, I'm leaving so energized and excited about what our students are
too.
doing and accomplishing.
And two, going into critical care straight out of school,
Yeah.
that's highly unusual. Typically, a hospital will want a student or a graduate to do med surg for a year. So the fact that we've got two of our great grads going right into ICU, they trust our graduates.
That's
and
great to hear.
probably they've seen our graduates in the clinical area, and they can get an idea as to the skill set.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for another great show, Donna.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us on Voice of Rio Grande.